All right. Something a little different. Testing. 1, 2. Check, check. Mic check. Czechoslovakian. Czechoslovakia. Shibboleth. Hey. Oh, I got the itch, got the bug to do a little bit of filming here. This is something I've been playing intermittently for last 2 previous nights. I finally finished the what was it, the Lingy battle that I was doing. Instead of jumping right into another battle, I thought I'd share some of this with you guys. In between. What I've got here is this. Well, Combat Commander, mainly in general, and specifically, we have, for your viewing pleasure, Fall of the West, Battle Pack number 5. I have fairly, I wouldn't say faithfully, but fairly rendered the map onto this. I've kept in mind certain distances, relative amount of cover and proximity of that cover. And in relation to the initial placement of the troops that begin the game, what else we have? The scenario itself, as the title suggests, Montherme, France, 14th of May, 1940. Probably still too loud on the musical end. I welcome our one viewer. You're greatly appreciated. German forces pressed across the Meuse in the face of a French company led by the aggressive, they say, Lieutenant Barbaste, who was, I guess, killed in action. During the afternoon and evening of the 13th, the second line of defense across the narrow portion of the peninsula astride the Roma woods was formed by reinforcing troops and others escaping the initial encirclement during the night. A concerted German attack started at 0600 on the 14th, leading to a French counterattack and a constant shifting of roles throughout the day. So bits and pieces information-wise in relation to the scenario start. Year is, in fact, 1940. Victory point marker is set at 0. The time and sudden death markers are set at 0 and 7, respectively. True quality / order limit. For the Axis and the Allies, they're both line, which is middle of the road between elite and green. And the hand size, no, the order limit, that is 3 for the Axis and 4 for the Allies. The posture for both of these critters is recon, which means a hand size of 4 cards each. Now, that will change. It's not subject to change. It will change. When these guys finally meet, we will determine who the attacker and defender is, and the hand sizes will change accordingly. Then we have the objective chits, where here we have an open objective chit with the random status for both Axis and Allies. Objective control, 1 for the Axis and 2 for the Allies. This is a little fuzzy, a little hazy, since I've translated it roughly in that respect. The objectives respect from the map to this. On the map, the objectives are more scattered, but because I added a bit more Buildings, the objectives are going to be a little bit more concentrated within the village area. Surrender markers, we have the axis set at level 8, right? Yes, and the allies at level 6. Okay, all right. And then we have the first turn is the allies. Oh, that irks me a little bit. I wish there was more of a random determination to determine who gets the initiative, but that's how it goes. Special rules: pitched battle. At the end of each time advancement, both players reveal a card and ignore everything but the 2 dice. This is not a roll. The player with the lower combined value instantly assumes, so that's our attack, defend postures that will be assumed. We'll go over that later when it happens. And then there's a special rule for the allies with this so-called memory of Lieutenant Barbas. Since whenever the allied player plays an action, he may simultaneously discard a command confusion order. Well, that will actually come in handy, so I'll try and remember that to the best of my ability. For those of you not familiar with this game, just a brief overview and history of my relationship with this thing. Combat Commander came out a while ago. This is not anything new and shiny. A lot of people like this game, big following. Personally, do I like it as well as, say, for instance, something called Squad Leader or something called Advanced Squad Leader? No, hell no. In fact, I will always love that more than just about anything. But I have to say, since I've drugged this out again, it has endeared itself a little bit more to me than it has in the past. I think I was a little too unwilling to bend in receiving what this game is trying to do. There are restrictions built in with this thing that irritate a lot of people, myself included. Some to the extent that they won't play it at all. And again, others that is the thing that they like about the game. What am I talking about specifically? I'm talking about these. These are cards that come with the game, and you can't do anything without a card. So if you want to move, if you want to fire, etc., and on, you're going to need a card to do it. Therein lies the frustration with a lot of people, and myself included. But again, recently I've allowed myself to just breathe, roll with it, go with the flow, and remind myself that all is well in tactical land. And it's been kind of pleasant. I've enjoyed it, I must say. So let's see if I can continue in the same vein via live camera. Another quick breakdown on this. I've added, as you can see, some trees. I've added double the amount of wheat field that I typically have on this thing. A few hills here and there. And then we have now that I've said all this, I don't think I've ever gotten a verification on the sound, but I think I'm good. I'm gonna whack yeah, we're good. All right, so a graveyard here. Where's my stick in relation? Okay, yeah, and then we got a stone wall here. I threw together out of wood and glue and whatnot, and then our typical buildings. Germans are set up coming in from along here and kind of a line. We have one, really only two? Only 2 leaders for the Germans, which is not a good thing. That is a weakness. And then we have our rifle squads. Let's see, one with a light machine gun, another with a light machine gun, one without. And I guess you would call this a half squad, perhaps. Another rifle squad with a light machine gun, another rifle squad, as well as a half squad with a heavy machine gun and a leader. Moving in this way towards the village. Then we have, again, this off-map Frenchies. Frogs, French fries, French toast, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. Moving this way. All love to France. I don't mean any ill will towards you guys. And as the scenario states, the French start, so let's just get going. I've said enough. All right, what do we have? I'll look at the... This is a little challenging to play solo because in a perfect world, you would have somebody opposite the table facing you, and you wouldn't be able to see the other guy's cards, right? Or gal. But as I am playing solo, I have to look at both sides' hand. Because, for instance, if you want opportunity fire, you have to know if that card is available or not to a side. So as the French go first, I don't see an opportunity fire opportunity for the Germans, so they won't be able to interrupt anything the French do. But that said, I think they're out of range anyway for any of that nonsense. Do we have any move cards for the French? No. Now, how does that work out? That's the rub of the game, right? You can't do it unless you got a card for it. I need to move, and I have nothing that will allow me to do so. I have a fire card, which does me no good because I'm out of range. A recover card, which does me no good because nobody's broken. Now, on either side, you can use this recover card for both sides. We'll get to that when we get to it. Or I should say the route card. I have 2 route cards. You can play those on either side. And a recover card. So what I will do is pass, which will allow me to discard a certain number of cards, and I don't know what that number is. That number would be... Let's see. Fake cards, orders, actions. How many cards do I discard? Live TV, folks. Live TV. If I don't see it soon, I'll just make it up. If a player chooses to perform no orders, he may instead discard any number of cards up to but not exceeding the discard capability of the nation he is commanding, as shown on the player aid sheet. Here we go, discard. So if I flip this player aid sheet over from the terrain chart, I see that France can discard 1 card. Oh, wow. That really does not help. Let's do that and hope we get a move card. We did get a move card. Oh, God bless America. But the French were stymied a bit there, allowing the Germans to, in fact, gain the initiative. Speaking of initiative, I have an initiative card here, and whichever side decides to, I think you can re-roll a die. And that's the other thing I forgot to add in this game. There are no dice. Now, there are dice, but there are no dice. The dice that are rolled, quote unquote, are, for instance, printed on the bottom of each of these cards. Will you focus? Probably not. And you just check and see what the bottom of the card says, and that is your dice roll. Suppose you could use 2 dice 6, but also you will have certain things that are listed as occurring with certain dice rolls that are printed on the bottom of the card, so that kind of makes that a moot point. Germans' turn. What do we got here? We do have a move card for the Germans, and that will allow us to activate either a single unit, which is a stupid move, or a leader who can then activate a number of units within his command range. Now we have a leader here with a command range of 1. This guy here hiding in the woods out of sight. And then we have another guy up here with a command range of 2. That would be the more intelligent choice. So that's what we'll do. Starting with these guys here who have a movement factor of... There we go. I have a movement factor of 4. What is the effect of... Field 3. They call this field. Movement is just 1, so he could go 1, 2, and then Woods is probably, yes, it is 2. He could make it to here. Puts him 2 hops away from this little walled building here. Then we have same deal, this guy with the light machine gun who does not impede movement at all. 1, 2, 3, not enough to make it to the next Woods hex. Puts him at the beginning of the edge of the woods, right at the end of the field. And then these guys can siphon up the leader's 2 factor to add to their movement, which is good because carrying this heavy machine gun drops the squad or half squad carrying it, its movement factor down by 1. So we'll go 6, drop by 1 makes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. And it looks like the Germans are going to be able to move into the town nicely and await the French. 1, 2, 3, 4, same deal. 5, but we have a stacking limit of 7. These silhouettes that appear, soldier silhouettes that appear on the counter will help you negotiate that. So a full squad has 4, half squad 2, that's 6. 1 more makes the leader. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can all fit cozily in the same hex. Let's see, that was a move order. We discard that. The Germans can spin how many orders? 3? 3. That's 1. We have an advance order here, which would allow us to advance 1 hex and do I spend it on the guys that already moved to get them in cover? Or do I spend it on these guys that have not moved at all to bring them in and not lag so far behind? I think the latter choice is the safer choice, maybe not the better choice. 1 hex, okay. Let's bring this guy up. This guy being the half squad and the full squad moving 1 hex puts them 1, 2, 4 hexes away from building cover, which is the ultimate objective here, to get into some building cover. All right, so that is two cards. Now there's nothing else we can do. We have 2 fire cards, nothing to fire at, so we have to just eat those and hang on to them. But we do draw 2 new cards, and for the Germans that would entail a recover card and a advance card, so they will again be able to move, at least some of them, guaranteed 1 hex. That brings us back to the French. Still 1 person, probably a bot. Are you a bot? And then we have shout out to my brother who's been diagnosed with COVID, and his wife. Both have COVID. Get well quickly. It's a crazy world right now. What else? Let's move the French. How about it? What I have down here, underneath, is another shelf I added. I showed that in another video, but I have all the cards and little doodads down there instead of on table cluttering things. I really like how that works out. Move the French, you say? Okay, I will. We have a healthy dose of leaders, 3 of them, all with a command factor of 2. If we pretend that they're already on hexes, even though they're not on map yet, we can go like this and move. That's nice. Okay, I think we can move everybody with this command. If we give, for instance, this leader command 1, 2, yeah, we can move everybody. So that puts in 1, 2, and Germans still do not have, nor do the French, an op fire order, so they cannot. Yes, so they cannot interrupt the French attempting to move a second time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's my pointer? lost it. Pointer stick. So he moved here. And we have some road movement, which could benefit us greatly. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is it to move into a building? I think I could beat the Germans to some of the buildings just by using a road movement. Yeah, 2. So 2, 3, 4. Because he's with a leader, or even if he wasn't with a leader, the road movement allows him to move right in to these buildings. That worked out nice for the French. Right there. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put him here. Again, these high movement factors are because they're stacked with leaders. Otherwise, they would only be moving a movement factor of 4. And this guy will, in fact, only move 4 because he's carrying a heavy machine gun, and he's going to have to hang back at least to here. Put him on the road, huh? And we'll have to wait another turn to get scooting. That puts these guys who are here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't stack. That would be overstacked. Not enough to move into that woods hex. So unfortunately, the only farthest they'll be able to go is here, meaning 2 hexes in to the map board. Tabletop, game board, terrain. Any other synonyms you want to throw out? That's the French turn. That was a move. There's nothing else they can do. We have nobody within range or line of sight. And the orders that we have left are fire, recover, and route. We draw a new card to replace our move order, and good to know we will be able to move again as the French in the next turn. That brings us back to the Germans. I need a mnemonic device. Let's go with this. Whoever has this is whose turn it is. That's how bad my memory is. All right. Germans, they have that nifty advance order. So that's what we'll do with the Germans. And we'll go. Well, all right. We'll issue that order to this leader here, who can then. I don't know if line of sight affects command range. I'm going to say it doesn't, although it does in certain games. And I guess I could check the rules, but it'll take me 10 minutes to find it. So we'll just say it doesn't. Not making things up as I go. Puts the anyway. What that does is allows the Germans to hang out in the graveyard. Spooky, scary. Halloween's over, but that's where they chose to go. And that's what they've done. So there's that. We have this gentleman here, this 554 rifle squad is going to move adjacent to the walled building, and these guys are going to move to the edge of the woods, adjacent to the graveyard and 1 hex away from the walled building. That leaves a number of their esteemed associates hanging back. That is to say, 3 squads, a leader and a half squad hanging back, which I don't like, but not the end of the world, at least yet. That was the advance order. We do have 2 fire orders as the Germans, but nothing yet within line of sight, although range is not becoming a factor anymore. So let's discard the advance card we just played and draw another fire card. So at some point, the Germans are going to be able to unload with 3 fire cards. as we go back to the French, who do have a single fire card but nothing to fire at, we will benefit from this single move card. And let's move deeper. We'll take these guys who are already in buildings and move them to an adjacent building hex, still not within line of sight of anything. We have buildings, intervening buildings, blocking line of sight to the Germans in the graveyard. Otherwise, they'd have line of sight. So that was an order issued to him within 2 hexes. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So everybody but these guys are going to be able to move. Let's put these guys right here in the buildings. Still no line of sight. And then I'm not doing dot to dot line of sight, obviously, because there are no dots on here. I'm just doing hex to hex. So a little bit different there. 1 hex here brings him adjacent to buildings, and this guy, 1 hex puts him also adjacent to these buildings, and they won't both be able to move in there because they will be overstacked, but one of them will be able to on the following turn. That kills that move card. Discard that. Draw a new card. New card is Artillery Request. Now, artillery, to my knowledge, is not an option in this scenario, namely because we don't have any radios to call it in, which would be a problem. So we'll skip any artillery requests, artillery-related orders, and you have 2 other options here, one being an action that states dig in and event interdiction. I don't think you can voluntarily play an event unless you get a die roll that states there's an event. So that will have to be involuntary. That brings us back to the Germans. Yeah, back to the Germans, who have all those fire actions but nothing to fire at because nothing within line of sight and no advance or move cards. So they've really got nothing they can do. I wonder if we can... should we discard and see if we can get a move or advance card, or just hang tight? No, we should try and move because we still got half the forces hanging back here. So let's see if we can discard. And for the Germans, really, look at the difference here. This is a kind of abstract way of representing command and troop quality. So the French can only discard 1 card, right? The Germans, in fact, the highest of all nationalities, can discard up to 6. So I could throw the entire hand away if I wanted to. I don't want to. I just want to do, you know what, just to hedge my bets, take one of the 3 fire cards and a recover card and get rid of those and see if I get a move or advance card on the 2 I draw. We did get 1 advance and 1 move. That worked out beautifully. It was also the end of the German turn. For the French, as the French, I am going to do a discard, but I'm not necessarily looking for move and advance cards. I am looking for fire cards. I'm going to let the Germans come to me, so I will discard 3. Nope, I can only discard 1. Let's discard this useless artillery request and get, Jesus, another artillery card. Artillery denied. Remember, as soon as we do meet, that is to say, where we're able to fire at each other, we have to switch up the hand size. Is that what it is? Determine who the defender and the attacker is. So the French really don't have much help by way of cards. Germans, however, are going to use, first of all, they're sitting pretty with their hand. They have an advance card, and I will use that card to activate this leader here who has a 2 hex command range. They can, that will be here, but But again, these guys just have to hang back. So let's go. Op fire capability? No. French do not have op fire capability. I do like that. The ability to op fire is probably a little too gratuitous in a lot of games. It should not always be the case that you can op fire. It should maybe sometimes or most of the case be such that you can conduct op fire, but about all the time, forever, always. So that's one. That puts the Germans who were in the graveyard into the building hex adjacent to two French-occupied building hexes. The full squad who was adjacent to the walled building is going to enter the walled building. And the fine fellows at the edge of the wood, Nottingham Forest, will enter the graveyard. No line of sight, but a nice place to be cover-wise. And in the grand scheme of the village. So that is the advance card. Now, looks like Germans can only play as they have a... Oh, they met. So now we have to switch up the... we have to switch up the hand size, right? Special rule, let's reread that. At the end of each time advancement, both players... Okay. So we have to wait, actually, at the end of each time advancement. We haven't had one yet, but we'll get one soon enough. Then we do the switcheroo. Got a move card. I think I'll use that as well. Again, French with 3 actions. Let's burn this move card. Activate this leader with a 1 hex command range. The folks in this hex, stacked with a leader, will be able to move 6, which puts them 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put them right here, adjacent to the walled building. It's a popular hangout. It's a watering hole that the Germans like to frequent, apparently. 1 hex. And then these guys are going to move 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's make things interesting. Let's put them here in the open and line of sight of the French heavy machine gun. That's mean to do to the poor Germans, but that's what I did. That's two command. I have 1 command left, and what is that going to be? That's going to be our first fire card. Who wants to fire? We will activate this guy here, the leader with the 2x command range. To let's see, 1, 2. We do have this French squad and heavy machine gun within range. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Going from top to bottom, let's start with... wow. All right. Give me a second to clear my head here. What am I doing? I'm doing this. It's interesting that leaders have a firepower factor. That's not the case in a lot of tactical games, but this one, it is the case. Firepower factor of 2, in fact. That squad is a 5, so that's 7. Half squad, 8, 9, 10. And then have a machine gun with 8 makes 18. Good gracious. All right. I got to do it this way to keep track of what I'm doing. And I need some writing stuff. Where'd you boys put your daddy's pencil at? You stop playing jokes on him. All right, here we go. 18 is what I said. 18 firepower, attack factors. And we draw a card, add that to the die result on the bottom of the card. Ooh, we did get a time trigger, which, if you remember, we'll advance the time as soon as I'm done firing, and that'll affect the hand size. So they got a 12. That's the best you can roll. makes 30. Jesus. Seriously? All right. Against what? Okay, against this guy who has a morale of 8. What's his die roll? His die roll is 16. He also has cover. What is his cover? Cover is 19. That does nothing. It looks like it's going to be bad. Pretty straightforward with the combat results here. If the attack factor is higher than the defense factor, the defender breaks. If he breaks again, he's gone. That's it. No step losses, no pin, no. Well, they do have occasionally suppressed results in here, but very simple, straightforward. Again, love it or hate it, that is what it is. And even with the, you would also be able to add the leader's command, which is 2, but that would be that wouldn't make a difference either. Same with the leader; he's going to break. So the Germans, right off the bat, not playing any games, have broken a leader and a French squad. Well, actually, it's just a French little half squad, kind of a weapons carrying squad, so not too bad. Bad enough, though. That brings us to continuing with the next hex, the rifle squad. And the building has a chance to finish off our broken French. Let's see what happens there. Firepower factor of only 5, though, this time. Strength in numbers is, I guess, the name of the game. And 5 will draw a card. I should have done the time thing, but I didn't yet. I will get to it. He rolled a 2, gets a 7, and he has a jammed event. Now, jammed, I think, is only going to apply to support weapon, which he does not have. So let's find the jammed. Where's that at? Explanation and verify that. Jammed. Peanut butter and jammed. Where is it? Where is the jammed? Where is it? Jammed is a. What the hell is jammed? Looking for an explanation of jammed. I assume it only affects support weapons, but you shouldn't assume. If I don't find it soon, I will continue with that assumption. I don't see anything that says jammed anywhere. Jammed? Ooh, 1.9.1.2. Where is that at? 1.9.1. Jammed. Because all firing weapons become broken, but I'm going to interpret that to mean support weapons. It just doesn't make sense that every weapon in that squad jams. So we'll ignore that. Also, I've forgotten, before I fire, yeah, obviously you need to be within range, but then you have to, and I didn't do this, you take the 2 numbers on the bottom of the card you draw when you're rolling your dice and multiply them together, and if that factor is greater or lesser than, I forget, the range, you can't fire. So it's just another kind of abstract way of accounting for chaos and the unaccountable. What did I say? His, I've lost all track of everything. 5, he rolled a jammed, which was, what, a 2? Yeah. for a firepower factor of 7. All right, so what do the defenders have? The defenders have looks like their morale, as the French at least, go up a notch when they break, which is, I guess, a good thing. Yay for the French. So that morale factor alone is already higher than the firepower attack factor without adding in a die roll or cover, so they will remain broken and not eliminated. That brings us finally to the Germans down here, who are 1, 2, 3 hexes away from our French squad with a heavy machine gun. It would behoove the Germans to do something there and throw a wrench in that heavy machine gun's day. Within range, yes, 1, 2, 3, and definitely within range. Combined firepower factor with this full squad and half squad of 8. Here we go. Of 8. Not the greatest, but we'll see what happens. Now he doesn't have any cover. Oh, I need to do that thing. So let's draw and see. He has definitely within range. So you would take 6, multiply that by 5, and get 30. Not a problem there. He's only at a 3 hex range. Then once that's taken care of, then we can factor in the defender's defense value, which is a 7. No leader to add, no cover to add. Let's see if we get a die roll. I think it'll be okay. Yep, he's fine. The die roll covered his butt, and nothing happened there. Even though he's sitting in the open, the Germans were unable to take advantage of that. Then we go to, before we end and head over to the French side, we go to this time business. We advance the time marker from 0 to 1, unless I'm mistaken. All is well. We reshuffle. I'll just take the top half and put it on the bottom. Reshuffle decks. 1, 2, 3, and replenish. Don't replenish our hand yet because our hand size is going to change. We need to determine who the defender and the attacker is now. Both had, if you remember, a recon status, and now we need to go. We both draw a card. The player with a lower combined value instantly assumes the defend posture. That would be the French, who are now defending officially. The Germans attacking. And what are the hand sizes for that? Defending and attacking. That is... Attack is 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. 5, 6. And remember, the Germans can chuck all of these if they skip a turn, if they so desire. Hand size for the French is 4 as a defender. Yeah, all right. Which is what they have for some reason. So nothing changes there. Hopefully I've been doing that right. Recon hand size is supposed to be 5. I was probably doing that wrong. Yeah, 5 cards for recon, 4 card hand size for defend, and 6 card hand size for attack. All right, now we got that taken care of. It is the French turn. Let's recap where we're at. We have a German squad, full squad with a light machine gun hanging back, doing nothing. He will have to be activated with an individual order, which is going to eat up an order, wasting on 1 unit, as opposed to activating a leader who can then activate a number of units within his command range. So that's going to suck. We have German rifle squad with a light machine gun in the graveyard. With no line of sight, we have German rifle squad with a light machine gun and a leader directly behind the walled building with no line of sight to anybody. We have a half squad and a full squad, German. in the open within 3 hexes of French heavy machine gun. They had an opportunity to disrupt them, but didn't, so I think they're going to pay for that. For the French, we have a broken leader and a broken half squad adjacent to 2 enemy hexes. We have a leader and a full squad French, that is to say, in cover and buildings adjacent to 1 enemy hex. We have a French squad in the open who needs to get to cover. Again, that French squad with the heavy machine gun in the open, which will either move and or fire. And then we have a French leader, a rifle squad, and light machine gun hanging back in kind of the same predicament as these German guys back here who need to get with the program, though. Luckily, they'll not have to be activated individually. They can use this leader to activate them and perhaps activate the rifle squad with the heavy machine gun as well. French turn, what do they have? They have artillery crap card, fire card, route card. So I could route these guys and get them out of danger. That's interesting. Rather than leave them sitting there getting shot at and risk losing them. I think that is something to consider. We also have a recover card. I could try and rally them. Something to consider, and a fire card. So and they can use 4 orders, while the Germans, who have that big 6-card hand, can only do 3 at a time. So that's interesting. All right, what do I want to do? Let's fire first. How about that? All right. We have 2. If I use him, if I activate him, he could then activate. No, let's go with this guy. If I activate him, I can fire with his rifle squad, and that will in turn activate these guys to fire. Let us go that route and see what happens. Almost a disaster there. I almost dropped 1,000 cubes on the floor. 1 there and 1 here. Let's go from bottom to top. I want to see what this heavy machine gun can do. He's got a rifle squad, has firepower of 5, and he's within range, and we'll draw a card to see if that just barely. 3 times 1 is 4, but 1, 2, 3 hex range. He was almost got that weird abstract can't fire thing, but he made it. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What do we draw? We draw 5. Makes 17. That's not bad. Not bad. Let's see what the defense is on these guys. So a 17 versus morale of 7. And they roll a 5. 12 and no cover. So he has broken. What does this guy do? 17. And, oops. Or I'm sorry, a 7. He only rolled a 3, so a 10. He also broke. So, as you might have guessed, predicted, prognosticated, deduced, not being able to knock out this heavy machine gun has cost the Germans, because now they have two broken. See, a broken squad and a broken half squad as a result. That's what they get. Then again, I can go back and say that wasn't fair to move them in the open like that, but kind of a little sadistic experiment I wanted to unfold. And then we have, again, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We add the leader's command. Oh, we need to draw to see if that weird thing happens. No, it doesn't. 4 times 2 is 8. They're adjacent. He's at 9 now. Let's see what he draws. 9 plus 7. let's see, put it right here, 16. Sorry, 16. And is that right? Yeah, 16. Versus, let's start with the leader. He has a morale of 8. He's going to draw 15, and that would have broke him, but he's in cover, so he narrowly escaped that. Leader's good. Let's try this half squad 7 plus the leader's command is 8 and 9. He draws 10, 11, 12. Not so lucky, even with cover, adding what, 14? Where's my thing? See how quick I get. There we go. Building cover. Let's verify that. Yeah, only, oh, it is 3. But even 3, that would still not be enough, so he does break. Half squad breaks. Let's see what happens to the full squad with the heavy machine gun. 7, 8, 9. And he draws, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. With cover 70 and 19, he is fine. Now, we also have an event that has popped up. And what the hell is an event? Events are listed below the action on their face card. Fate card. Events are never played only at random intervals due to certain die rolls. 1.9.1.1. What is the event? Reveals the top card of his draw pile. Let's see. And ignoring top card of the draw pile. Ignoring everything else. Reads aloud and then executes the event on that card. Breeze. The event, remove all smoke markers and all blazes spread. Well, that is not applicable because we have no smoke or blazes in play. So no event. And then that's it, right? Yeah. And then, so that was the fire action for the French. They have 3 other actions they can do. Why do I still only have 4 cards when I'm supposed to have 5? Right? No, 4. Okay. Losing my mind. What else? We have a route. I think I do want to route those guys. Let's make sure I do this properly. Those guys being the, remember, the French leader and half squad that are, I'm going to lose them if I don't route them. I don't know how else to, I could recover them. Let's try that. Change my mind. Let's see if I can recover them. Where is recover? 022 is recover, and here we go. When a recover order is announced, blah, blah, blah. Recover procedure. First, the player taking a recover order removes all suppressed. I don't have any of those in play. Then he makes a rally roll for each friendly unit that was broken. If the active player, has more than one broken unit, he chooses the order in which those units will be affected. Rally roll. If a roll is less than its morale, you rally it. All right, let's start with the leader who has a morale of 9. He rolls a 7. He's back in action. Jackson. And then we roll for the broken half squad, who also has a morale of 9. He rolled an 8. He has also rallied. So, looks like we chose wisely and rallied those guys effectively. It's the end of that order. And we still have 2 more we can do. The stupid artillery thing doesn't help, but we have a route order. I'm going to use this route order on the Germans. Now, here's how this works. You might say, why would you want them to route? You want them to remain where you can shoot at them. Well, hold on. The active player, that is the one that announced the order, me, the French, makes a roll for each unit belonging to the chosen player that was broken. And a route roll can have 1 of 3 effects on a broken unit. All right, here's our first route roll. Who do I draw from? What pile? makes it roll. All right, I'll draw from the French pile. First roll is a 6, 7, 8. If the roll is less than its morale, there is no effect, and the unit remains where it is. So he has no, it's not. It's greater. That broken half squad has a morale of 6. If the roll is greater than its current morale, it must retreat a number of hexes equal to the difference. So 6, 7, 8 from 6 from 8 rather is 2. He retreats 1, 2 into the woods. I kind of like that route strategy, or not strategy, but mechanic. Then we go. So the Germans don't have quite the morale when they're broken or unbroken as the French do for some reason. French seem to have a little bit better morale. Anyway, what do we get for this guy? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's also greater. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He must retreat 4. Goodness gracious, that seems a little excessive. I mean, he ran so far away. Wouldn't just... Okay, never mind. That doesn't seem realistic to me. That's a little excessive. But this guy did not... Well, he got a 6. All right, he has morale 7. He doesn't have to route at all. That's the end of that, and that's the end of the French turn. We'll draw 3 new cards for the French. And check the time on the filming, and I may call it. I think I think everybody's in bed. It's been an hour. We've only had 1 viewer. And I think I'm going to call it. I may leave this where it is and come back to it tomorrow. There's a good chance of that, actually. It would be the Germans' turn. Let's remember that. And go from there. All right, for those of you that watch us at a later point, as always, if you haven't, feel free to subscribe, leave comments, leave suggestions, leave rants, leave praise, leave questions, leave something. All right, guys, that's it for tonight, Friday night in France, or from France, rather. Talk to you next time.